Why is it every time he tells you to get down from the horse, you have to take it? And not only that,
I'm not saying this is, if your proposition to join your side is that you're going to be ridiculed and humiliated until you do, there doesn't seem like there's many drawing factors in. It just seems like it's fear-based and oppression-based. Yaps. It's in the name. This is a topic that a lot of people beat around the bush for. And honestly, for Elon Musk, you know, one of the smartest men in the world, he says that all of this is just math.
Europe will fall in the next 100 years.
Europe will fall in the 100 years.
I think we're underpopulated. In order for civilization to maintain itself, it must have a fertility rate of 2.11 kids per woman. Historically, no culture has ever reversed a 1.9 fertility rate, okay, historically. And a rate of 1.3 is mathematically impossible to reverse. Where are we right now in Europe? France, 1.8. England, 1.6. Greece, 1.3. Dead. Germany, 1.3. Dead. Italy, 1.2. Dead. Spain, 1.1. Now, let's do a little
Super dead.
calculation here. What is the fertility rate, the Islamic fertility rate in France?
Oh, it's probably like 7.
8.1.
Oh, I was kidding. I was kidding. What? Damn.
In large French cities, 45% of children under the age of 20 are
Holy
Islamic.
fuck.
At this rate, in 40 years, France could become an Islamic republic. The world as we know it is just changing in a way that I feel is irreversible, and we're gonna see the outcome of that eventually.
See, I don't think it's irreversible. And everything's, if we look through history, history's always been fluid, right? The list is fluid, like Stephen A. Smith on ESPN. But this is the R of Britain. Remember to drop a white feather for the cowards who failed to stop this. Foreign national X crimes against rates in England and Wales. Sudan, Afghanistan, Eritrea, Iran, Iraq. Those are the top 5 right there that equate for, you add all of this up, it's going to be greater than this, which is kind of insane. But if we keep going, Guinea, Tanzania, Namibia, Gambia, Kuwait, Yemen, St. Lucia, Egypt, Zimbabwe, Ethiopia, Sierra, Jamaica, Barbados, Kenya, Algeria. Wow. I mean, this, granted, this is foreign. Now I would like to see the domestic crimes and compare that to the immigrant ones, which is just insane. Fertility rate hits record low in England and Wales with a 1.5. I mean, that is... It is kind of shocking. It is kind of shocking. And, you know, you may be thinking, well, you know, I don't see an issue with this. Why is this an issue? These are the people that are pushing the narrative, pushing their propaganda, and I shouldn't say propaganda, their agenda and their beliefs. And I'm just going to let them play, and you tell me if this belief resonates with you.
equality to all of its members. Is there such a thing in Islam? Is there equality of faith? If we look to one hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, on the authority of Abu Huraira, Sahih Muslim, so no Sunni Muslim can really argue against Sahih Muslim or Sahih Bukhari. Rasulullah said, don't greet the Jews and the Christians before they greet you, and when you meet any of them on the roads, force them to go on the narrow side of it. And Imam Maliki said the same thing as well. In fact, Umar ibn Khattab, who Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that if there was to be another Nabi after me, it would be Umar ibn Khattab in his own charter, not charter of United Nations, in his charter with the people of Sham, with those Christians of Sham, in his charter was Kafir and Muslim, they're not allowed to wear the same clothes as one another. If the Muslim, he comes out on the day of Eid and he sees Kafir with nice clothes, the Kafir has to take his clothes off and give it to the Muslims. The Kafir, when he walks inside the street, he has to wear a red belt around his neck, and he has to have his forehead shaved, and he has to wear two shoes which are different from one another. He's not allowed to walk on the pavement. He has to walk in the middle of the road, and he has to ride on a mule.
I'm assuming, I'm hoping that some of this is just, hyperbole, just an exaggeration.
And that's only
him kind of joking around a little bit.
For the adults, not for the children. And you can see how Islam would make the child become a Muslim. The Kafir, or the child growing up in a state of kufr, he will turn to Islam. Why? Because the child will be walking along with his dad. He said, Dad, yeah? Why you got your forehead shaved? I don't know whether these Muslims, they make me do it. Why you got to walk? Why can't you ride the animal like the Muslims? They walk like ride the animal like this. Why are you walking with both legs dangling on the side of the donkey? Why is it every time the Muslim comes to you, he asks you for your clothes, you give it? Why is it every time he tells you to get down from the horse, you have to take it? And not only that,
I'm not saying this is, if your proposition to join your side is that you're going to be ridiculed and humiliated until you do, there doesn't seem like there's many drawing factors in. It just seems like it's fear-based and oppression-based.
he said the kuffar, they can have their churches. They can have their churches, but they're not allowed to ring the bell. And if a Muslim, he's walking by, let's say, for example, a Muslim's been on Edgware Road, for example. He's had some nice shisha, some nice steak, no hubble bubble. We don't deal with anything like that. And he's walking along and he's rubbing his belly and he's like, oh man, you know, I don't want to upset my wife tonight. What he can do, he can go to the church, knock on the door. John, let me in. Okay, no problem. John has to put up Abdul Ghafoor for the night. Abdul Ghafoor with his big belly, having his nice kebab. John has to open up the church and he has to go there and sleep there nice and comfortable.
Not with his wife.
And say, all right, John, thank you, and then carry on going early in the morning. Which wife is going to live with John under that type of circumstances? What kind of honoring is this for me to live with John and Abdul Ghafoor comes every Friday night and sleeps in our bed as well? Of course. Because sunnah is to look after the guest, innit? I can't make you sleep on my floor if you can't. You're a Muslim, by the way. So what about when Abdul Ghafoor goes to John's house? John, sleep on the floor, and I'll sleep on the bed. What's going to happen? Tracy's going to be on the floor thinking, my husband, he's got a forehead shaved, and this one, look to this one, khatab, mashallah. Which one's more attractive? We're not gay, but I'm just saying. A man with his forehead shaved and one belt around his neck and two different colored shoes, or Amir Khattab. Amir Khattab, we're talking about here now, with that nice Chechen hat, big beard, you know, a bit to the side, yeah? And he's got the badges there, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, yeah? And he's got a big gun, and he's got a big camouflage jacket on, nice boots, gloves as well. Even if he's got a couple of fingers
Already just describing a warrior, man. These guys are just so ready for conflict.
missing, still looks attractive. Yeah? What's Tracy going to do? John's in for a problem. He just let him in for a kebab, he lost his own
And this is a guy talking about another guy's wife and like being in a
wife as well. So everyone's going to become Muslim. That is, my dear brothers, the Islamic State.
Wow. That's just, I don't know if I believe is pure evil. I'm sure that there are some people who, you know, believe in Islam and the fact that like you do something bad, you have to do something good in the world to try to balance it out, or at least that's kind of how it was simplified talking to me about it. But wow, this is a good point. Does anyone realize that the UK could become the first nuclear power with Muslims in charge of their government? This should scare the hell out of every country in the free world. They don't need Iran if they take over another place. Oh my gosh, that is actually so true. Iran and these Muslim, you know, just led countries that are, you know, having sanctions against them from developing nuclear power. It's kind of crazy that okay, fine, we won't develop nuclear power here. We'll just go over to France or Europe or somewhere that does have Germany that does have nuclear power, and we'll just take it over there. Wow, that's actually kind of insane, isn't it?